Imagine for a moment that everything you've ever experienced, every joy, every failure, every dream that seemed too far away, has never truly been outside of you, but has always been a reflection of the frequencies you hold within. This is where the misunderstanding of quantum shifting begins. People believe they must do something extraordinary to move realities, that they must meditate for hours, repeat affirmations endlessly, or follow complex rituals to change timelines. But in truth, the entire phenomenon of quantum shifting is not about doing more. It's about realizing what you already are. It's about understanding that the you who desires a new reality and the you who already lives that reality exists simultaneously within the infinite quantum field of now. You are not becoming that version of yourself. You are aligning with it. This realization is the first and greatest key. Because when you grasp that consciousness is a projector and the universe merely the screen, the struggle to create reality falls away, and the simplicity of shifting becomes clear. Change the film in the projector, your inner frequency, and the screen must display a new scene. For too long, people have been conditioned to chase results outside themselves, unaware that the world outside is a lagging reflection of yesterday's thoughts, yesterday's emotions, yesterday's state of being. Quantum shifting is instantaneous in the energetic realm, but your physical world rearranges itself in perfect resonance with your dominant vibration. So if you've ever wondered why manifestations take time, it's not because the universe is testing you. It's because you're testing yourself. You waver between frequencies, believing and doubting, aligning and resisting, sending mixed signals to a field that only knows how to mirror clarity. Once you understand that, you begin to move differently. You stop asking, when will my reality change? And start asking, how can I embody the version of me whose reality is already changed? This is where quantum simplicity begins to emerge. Because the shift doesn't require effort. It requires alignment. Alignment with what? With the truth that you are already whole, already enough, already powerful beyond measure. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your energy. You can affirm, I am abundant 1,000 times. But if your inner state vibrates lack, the field reads lack, not words. Energy doesn't speak English. It speaks frequency. So the real work is not mental repetition. It's energetic reconditioning. When you begin to feel abundance before it appears, when you begin to love before the relationship arrives, when you begin to embody peace before the circumstances change, you collapse the distance between desire and manifestation. That is quantum shifting. It's not something you learn. It's something you remember. Every moment you tune into the version of yourself that already exists, you step into that frequency, and reality has no choice but to match it. The quantum field operates on resonance, not effort. You don't chase reality. You attract it through the magnetism of your being. The reason this feels difficult for most people is because they've spent years identifying with the old self, the one who tries, who hopes, who doubts. But that version of you is just a memory loop sustained by thought. The moment you stop feeding it with attention, it dissolves. Think of your consciousness as a radio tuner. Infinite stations exist right now. Love, success, freedom, peace. But you can only hear the one you're tuned to. The music of your life is not determined by what stations exist. It's determined by what station you choose to tune into. You don't have to destroy the old frequency. You simply stop listening to it. That's the secret of effortless shifting. You don't fight the old story. You choose a new one so completely that the old one fades from relevance. Energy follows attention, and attention creates identity. If you continuously affirm the new identity, through feeling, not just words, the quantum field reorganizes to match. The process is neutral, impersonal, scientific. The universe is not judging your worthiness. It's reflecting your coherence. That's why you can't lie to energy. You can't fake belief. You can only embody it. The state you occupy is the signal you broadcast. And so, if you want to experience a new life, you must become emotionally fluent in that life before it arrives. That means practicing the frequency of your future until it feels more natural than your past. When your nervous system, your mind, and your emotions all agree on that new reality, it becomes inevitable. You don't make it happen. It happens through you. The universe doesn't reward hard work. It responds to energetic congruence. Most people exhaust themselves trying to change matter with matter, trying to move the external pieces of life while staying energetically the same. But quantum shifting operates in the opposite direction. You shift internally first, and the physical world bends to that new blueprint. You've been told to believe it when you see it, but the truth is you'll see it when you believe it, because your seeing is determined by your believing. Belief is not blind faith, it's energetic ownership. It's declaring, this is who I am now, even when the evidence hasn't yet appeared, because you understand that evidence always follows identity. The shift becomes simple when you understand that manifestation is not about attracting what you want. It's about becoming what you want. You don't attract abundance. You become abundant. You don't attract love. You become love. You don't attract peace. You become peace. When that embodiment happens, you're no longer in a state of wanting. You are in a state of having, and the universe must mirror that back to you. The irony is that you've always been shifting realities. Every thought, every emotion, every moment you choose perspective, you jump into a parallel timeline that matches it. The only difference now is that you're doing it consciously. Awareness turns chaos into creation. Once you understand that the external world is fluid, not fixed, you stop fearing change and start using it. You realize that reality isn't happening to you. It's responding to you, and that response is instant in the field, delayed only by your belief in time. The more you release your attachment to how and when, the faster the shift occurs, because resistance is the only real delay. Resistance is the energetic friction between who you were and who you're becoming. The key is not to fight it, but to breathe through it, to allow your nervous system to expand enough to hold the new energy. As you do that, the body and mind recalibrate, and suddenly what once felt impossible becomes effortless. You realize that quantum shifting was never about jumping into a new universe. It was about remembering that you were always the universe. You are the consciousness that holds infinite timelines within. Every possibility exists right now, waiting for your attention to bring it to life. You can shift from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, from confusion to clarity, simply by choosing a new state of being and sustaining it long enough for the physical to catch up. The reason this seems complex is because humans love complexity. It gives the ego a sense of control. But the deeper truth is that simplicity is power. The more you simplify, the more potent your energy becomes. Quantum shifting becomes simple when you finally stop seeking and start being. Because every time you say, I want to shift, you reinforce the vibration of not yet being there. But when you say, I am already it, you collapse the illusion of distance. The quantum field doesn't respond to your timeline. It responds to your now line. Everything you desire is already present in eternal now, encoded in your consciousness, waiting to be expressed. So ask yourself right now, who would I be if I already had what I desire? How would I breathe? How would I move? How would I speak? And then live that answer. That's the simplest and most powerful method there is. You don't visualize to escape reality. You visualize to instruct reality. You're not daydreaming. You're coding the quantum field. When your inner world becomes more real than your outer world, the outer must conform. This is how great shifts happen, not by magic, but by alignment. You're the alchemist, the scientist, and the subject all in one. You are consciousness experimenting with itself. And when you finally stop trying to fix your life and start expressing your truest frequency, you step into a flow that feels effortless, magnetic, inevitable. Life begins to feel like it's conspiring for you, not against you, because you've tuned into the station of flow itself. You start meeting people who match your vibration. Opportunities appear from nowhere, synchronicities multiply, and you realize the universe was never withholding anything. It was waiting for you to become the version of yourself who could receive it. That's the moment reality bends. That's when the impossible becomes natural. Quantum shifting becomes simple when you stop looking for proof and start being the proof. You no longer beg the universe to deliver. You thank it for already having done so. Gratitude becomes your baseline frequency, and gratitude is the signature of completion. It says, it's done, and the universe echoes, yes, it is. You are no longer chasing the next manifestation. You are living from completion, and from that state, everything multiplies effortlessly. This is not spiritual theory. It's quantum law. The observer collapses the wave into the particle, meaning your focus awareness brings potential into form. So if your awareness is fixated on lack, you collapse lack. If it's fixated on abundance, you collapse abundance. This is why presence is power. Every second you spend aware of your chosen reality strengthens its signal. You don't need to force it, you need to sustain it. Hold the vibration long enough, and matter must conform. The field cannot resist coherence. That's the simplicity people overlook. They think they need to do quantum shifting, but they only need to be it. The doing emerges naturally once the being is aligned. The energy of who you are precedes every action, every choice, every manifestation. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. Once that truth lands, everything changes. Quantum shifting becomes not a technique but a lifestyle, a continuous dance with infinite possibilities, where every breath is a choice point and every thought is a doorway. You are the architect of universes disguised as a human being trying to remember. And now, you do remember. Now that you understand the essence of quantum shifting, the realization that you are not changing worlds but tuning frequencies, it's time to go deeper into embodiment, because understanding alone does not transform. Embodiment does. Knowing that reality is a mirror of your inner state is powerful, but living from that knowing changes everything. Embodiment is the bridge between concept and creation, between theory and transformation. It is where the quantum shift moves from intellectual understanding to lived experience. This is where most people stop, because they believe they've got it when they understand it mentally. Yet the mind cannot sustain a new timeline unless the body and emotions agree. The body is the subconscious, and the subconscious runs 95% of your life. So, if your conscious mind declares, I am abundant, but your body still vibrates scarcity, tight chest, shallow breath, tension, doubt, the signal is mixed and the field mirrors confusion. To shift realities, you must get your whole being to agree with the new story. That means teaching your body what your mind already knows. This is embodiment. It's not about forcing belief. It's about feeling the energy of the new identity so fully that your nervous system accepts it as truth. When you embody the new version of you, reality has no choice but to bend to that energetic signature, because reality is consciousness made visible. The embodied version of you doesn't need to chase, affirm, or wait. It simply is. Think about it. When you're truly confident, you don't have to convince anyone. The energy speaks for itself. The same is true for every state of being. The energy of abundance, love, freedom, and peace is palpable. It communicates beyond words. When you embody these frequencies, you don't have to manifest them. They gravitate toward you like metal to a magnet. You become the cause instead of the effect. And that's when life begins to reorganize itself around your vibration. But how do you embody reality you've never lived before? You start with imagination. Imagination is not fantasy. It is creation. Every reality that has ever existed began as an image in consciousness. When you close your eyes and feel the version of yourself who has already shifted, you are visiting that frequency. You are rehearsing it into being. The brain does not know the difference between imagination and experience. It fires the same neural circuits. This means you can literally rewire yourself into a new identity by practicing it energetically before it appears physically. Each time you feel gratitude, confidence, or joy for a reality that hasn't yet manifested, you're installing that future in your present timeline. You're teaching your body that the future has already arrived, and because the body lives only in the now, it begins to behave as if it's already true. That's when the shift becomes visible. This is a science of embodiment. Feel it until it becomes natural. Practice the emotion of your future until it becomes your new baseline. You are not tricking the universe. You're training yourself. You're removing the old emotional patterns that kept you tied to your past. Every emotion has a chemical signature, and the body becomes addicted to these chemicals. That's why people find it hard to change. They say they want a new life, but unconsciously crave the familiarity of their old emotional state. But when you decide to shift, you must also detox from those emotional addictions. You must be willing to feel uncomfortable for a moment because the old self is dying and the nervous system will resist at first. The moment you commit to the new frequency, the old identity begins to dissolve, and the mind might panic because it no longer recognizes itself. But that's not failure. That's transformation. The discomfort is proof that the shift is occurring. Don't run from it. Breathe through it. Every deep breath is an act of surrender, telling your body it's safe to become more. And as the body relaxes, energy begins to flow freely again, unlocking power that was once trapped in tension. That's when magic starts to feel like logic. You begin to see patterns aligning, synchronicities appearing, new people showing up at the perfect time. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations from a field that your vibration has changed. Embodiment is not just a spiritual idea. It's a physical process. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you carry yourself, because energy expresses through posture, tone, and presence. The embodied self radiates coherence. When your thoughts, emotion, and actions are unified, the quantum field responds with precision. You become a coherent signal, and coherence is power. Coherence is clarity, and clarity commands reality. This is why meditation, visualization, or breath work can be powerful tools. They help you enter coherence. But you must understand, the tool is not the power, your focus is. Meditation doesn't shift you. Your state of awareness within meditation does. Visualization doesn't shift you. The emotion you generate while visualizing does. Techniques are like bridges. You use them to cross a river. But once you're on the other side, you don't need to carry the bridge. The ultimate goal is to live in the state of being naturally. When your default vibration matches a reality you desire, you don't need to do anything to maintain it. It becomes your nature. That's embodiment. You become the new frequency effortlessly. Because effort belongs to resistance, and flow belongs to alignment. Many people struggle because they keep asking, how long will it take? But time is irrelevant in the quantum field. Time is a reflection of your level of alignment. The more you embody the end result, the faster reality collapses around that frequency. So stop measuring time and start measuring energy. Ask, how aligned do I feel right now? Instead of how long until it happens. The moment you feel fully aligned, it's done. The universe must match it. Remember, your reality is a mirror, not a test. It doesn't withhold, it reflects. If you feel doubt, it shows you doubt so you can release it. If you feel love, it multiplies love. Every external situation is an echo of your internal vibration. When you understand this, you stop reacting and start responding consciously. You become the calm center creation, the still point around which your world spins. That stillness is not passivity, it's power. The calm creator moves reality by being unmoved by appearances. The old you chase results. The new you radiates certainty. The old you doubted. The new you knows. The old you waited. The new you realizes it's already done. This knowing is a quantum key that unlocks all shifts. Because when you know, you stop asking. When you stop asking, you stop signaling lack. When you stop signaling lack, you embody wholeness. And wholeness is the highest frequency there is. Wholeness is completion, and completion is creation. When you embody wholeness, you're not trying to get to the future. You are bringing the future into now. The energy of the end result saturates your being, and everything you experience from that point forward begins to rearrange. You'll notice old patterns dissolving effortlessly, opportunities finding you instead of you finding them, because energy reorganizes in favor of coherence. That's how quantum shifting becomes not just simple, but natural. The field does the heavy lifting once you align. You stop fighting for control and start trusting resonance. You begin to understand that surrender is not giving up, it's tuning in. It's allowing the intelligence of the universe to move through you without resistance. Surrender says, I trust the process because I am the process. And that's the ultimate truth. You are both creator and creation, both wave and particle, both dreamer and dream. The universe expresses itself through you as you. You don't need to force manifestation because the universe inside you is always manifesting. It never stops. The only question is, which version of you is it expressing? The fearful one or the aligned one? The one in doubt or the one in knowing? You choose every moment. Every breath is a vote for a timeline. Every thought is a doorway to a new dimension. Every feeling is a signal sent to the field, saying, this is who I am now. And the field always replies, So be it. When you understand that, you realize shifting isn't something you do occasionally. It's happening constantly. The only difference is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Conscious shifting means you stop reacting to the old and start responding from the new. You stop asking, why isn't it here yet? And start living as if it's already here. That is the master key of embodiment. You no longer need proof. You become proof. You no longer need to convince yourself. Your vibration convinces reality. The old way of manifesting was mechanical. Visualize, affirm, wait. The new way is magnetic. Become, feel, embody. The old way tried to manipulate energy. The new way merges with it. You are not separate from the universe trying to influence it. You are the universe experiencing itself as you. The quantum field is your reflection, your partner, your mirror. It listens not to your words, but to your essence. Embody the essence of what you desire, and it will meet you halfway, then all the way. The simplicity is breathtaking once you see it. Quantum shifting was never about learning complicated techniques. It was about remembering your natural power. When you live from embodiment, you stop searching for signs because you become the sign. You stop doubting the process because you are the process. You stop fearing failure because there is no failure, only feedback guiding you back into alignment. Every moment becomes sacred. Every challenge becomes a teacher, and every desire becomes a doorway to a higher expression of yourself. This is what it means to live quantumly. To live as if the entire universe is your canvas, and your emotions are the brush. You paint reality with frequency, and the masterpiece evolves as you do. You realize that you were never shifting to escape life. You were shifting to expand it. You were never manifesting to prove your power. You were manifesting to remember it. And when that remembrance settles deep into your bones, when it stops being something you practice and starts being something you are, life transforms into flow. You wake up inspired, you act from clarity, and you rest in trust. You know that no matter what appears outside, the inside holds the key. You've unlocked a simplicity that sages, mystics, and scientists have been pointing to all along. The outer world is not the cause, it's the effect. And you, the conscious observer, are the cause. From this moment forward, everything you touch, think, or feel carries your signature frequency, and reality responds in kind. You don't need to chase it, you just need to be it. That's the ultimate simplicity of quantum shifting. It becomes as natural as breathing, as effortless as light shining. Because when you finally understand that everything you desire is already encoded within you, the need to strive disappears. You shift not because you're dissatisfied, but because expansion is your nature. The universe itself is expanding, and you are its expression. Every desire is life asking to know itself more fully through you. That's why you'll always feel pulled toward greater expression. It's not greed, it's growth. The quantum field thrives on expansion, and when you align with that expansion, everything flows. You begin to trust your desires because they are divine directions. You stop fearing the unknown because the unknown becomes your playground. You stop doubting your worth because you realize worthiness was never in question. You've always been enough because you've always been everything. And now, you live like it. That is the embodied shift. It's not a one-time event. It's a continuous awakening. You don't return to the old self because the old self cannot survive at this frequency. The shift becomes your natural state. Simplicity becomes your superpower, and you finally understand that the greatest manifestation is not the thing you get. It's the version of yourself you become. Quantum shifting becomes simple when you finally stop chasing timelines and start living as a timeless. You've stepped into the field as a conscious creator, and from here, every breath, every thought, every heartbeat whispers the same truth. You are it. You always have been. You always will be.